Your last breakup, was it your fault or theirs?
I dated a young lady, and the first date we met, I said to her, "Yo, love, I like feet, and if that's a problem for you, we can end this date right here." And she popped her shoes off in the middle of the club and said, "Get to sniffing, mother." And I thought that I found the one, right? 4 years later, she goes to me, "Good is hard to find, so I will you forever, but this feet shit I cannot deal with." And the funny thing is that the first time I went to her house, I caught like the heebie-jeebies, and I looked around and I said, "You're not the type of woman I want to date." And she goes, "Why?" And I go, "Because you don't have one book in here." And she says, "Well, I don't date short guys, and I'm trying." And that was the moment I knew that this was not the relationship for me. However, I continued 4 years into it, so it was her fault for telling me that she was cool with my feet shit and lying about that shit, but it was my fault because I knew that it wasn't the thing.
What is it about the feet that you like?
So I'm addicted to pheromones, right? Now, pheromones are, for those who don't know, the combination of sweat and bacteria that your body creates, and it creates a chemical reaction. That chemical reaction can be some. It's just as addictive as nicotine, which is a chemical, as THC and weed, which is a chemical. Crack cocaine, all these things are chemicals that you can be addicted to, and pheromones are among that list, although they haven't been widely researched and studied in such a light. And so I believe that men seek to be grounded, right? The only part of someone's body that is always on the ground are their feet, and me being a Virgo and a true earth sign, I do believe that women have the power to ground us and to give us peace via their souls. Like, open your souls up to me, and we'll both find each other.
Why did it last so long?
Well, quite simply, and this is not me being narcissistic at all, but I am literally the smartest motherfucker you're ever gonna meet. And it was COVID, and I had this like determination to not like get the vaccine, to like just make it through COVID, and I was like, I'm not getting sick, and knock on wood, I haven't had COVID once, neither has she. But I mean, I am that guy. I'm making the color pink. I am quantifying the term BSOCD. And I asked her, I said, "Well, why did you lie to me?" And she goes to me, "Because I needed you." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, you're like one of the most interesting guys that I've ever met. He's told me so much." And at that point, life without you just seemed really scary. And I guess there was a point where I tried to break up with her, but her aunt died of COVID like literally the day after I decided to break up with her, and so I just for some reason I had too much of a heart to just bounce, and God told me, stop trying to do His job.
What have you learned about expectations in a relationship?
I've learned that no one can repay you for what you think you've done for them or what you think you've provided them for. Sometimes a relationship is truly your opportunity to learn how to love, right? God's love is unconditional. It comes with no terms, and some individuals are just vessels of destruction, right? So I've learned to not fall in love, right? But to stand for love, to at least crawl towards it, to walk with it until I run with it, and hopefully we win the race and God grants us wings and we can fly with it.
Your last heartbreak, was it your fault or theirs?
My ex and I were together for about 6 months, and basically he's best friends with my best friend. He told her that he was cheating on me, but obviously I couldn't say to him like, "I'm breaking up with you because you're cheating on me," because she wasn't supposed to tell me. So then went on holiday together, everything, thought it was all good. Came back, found out he was still cheating on me. So then I cheated on him back, and then he caught me. He broke up with me, but really it was his fault because he cheated first and then I cheated back.
And would you do anything different?
No, I'm happy with what I did. If he cheats on me, I'm going to cheat back. I'm going to do what he does to me, because he's not going to cheat on me and then I'm just going to accept it or just break up with him subtly.
Your last heartbreak, was it your fault or theirs?
It was totally my fault. I developed feelings for someone else while I was dating someone, and I actually told my partner because we did have a really great, communicative, healthy relationship. I was like, "Listen, I don't know what's happening, but I have really strong feelings for my best friend." I think I started out trying to handle it really maturely, and then I realized that it was just a really shitty situation, and there's just some things where even if you're trying to, protect the other person. Life is a lot messier than we think, and I was super stressed out when that whole situation started to happen, because I was like, oh no, like, I don't want to be like all these bad people that I see in my life. And then I kind of realized that these things happen, and like, you can't really help a feeling, and sometimes things just aren't meant to be, so.
Your last breakup, was it your fault or theirs?
I definitely say it was theirs, just because they were like a little boy in not even a man's body. I can't even say that. So let's just say we were both at a time in our lives where friendship seemed like love, and I don't even want to talk about it anymore because it kind of makes me feel a bit icky inside, but I had to end it because I had to do something good for myself. I had to come away from that, realise what I was looking for in other people and find that within, and that's what I found from that relationship. So I can't really say it's no one else's fault, because whatever power up there sent me that way to learn something, so I'm grateful for it either way. But it could have been a little bit more nicer. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. At what point did you have that realization that like you had to move on from this person?
I realised that, well, what happened was he like basically, it was my birthday, and he went out with my family and like got another girl and like sat her on her lap and everything in front of everyone, and I still was like Delulu, like hello. But then like I was just kind of chasing stability, and the thing is, like, you can go around chasing stability in people, but you're just going to get the same outcome each time again, because you're just betraying yourself. So that was my major lesson, and now I'm in like the most beautiful relationship with someone that I'm totally in love with, and it feels beautiful because we're not dependent on each other, and we both like have our own lives outside of each other, and we flourish with each other rather than being like, I need you, I love you.
Yeah. So with that, what would you say is the biggest thing you learned through having that previous relationship that you've now brought moving forward?
Is not to rush into relationships. Stay monogamous until you're like literally wifed off, because the thing is, you'll think that the feeling in your stomach is love, but really it's just like a trauma reaction that you're getting. And we need to really be taught about this, because half the time you're like led astray because you think, oh, I'm in love, I can feel it, but really it's just like you're chasing stability again, you know.
Wow.
So that's kind of what I learned, was not to give myself over. So not saying I was like a hoe, because I really was not. I promise you now.
Yeah.
But it's just to like know my standards, be true to my standards, and just don't push for no one. Like, if someone says like, I want this from you, well, you ain't getting it. No way. That don't meet my standards, honey, so walk on. There we go.
Love it. Wow.
All right, cool. So your last breakup, was it your fault or theirs?
Was both of us.
Both.
Was our fault. It's all the time like this. It's nobody's fault, because there are two different perspectives.
Yeah. So could you tell us about those perspectives? Like, what actually happened, what went down?
So every human being has his own perspective of reality, and if you have like a misconception, or you're not on the same page, then you can perceive reality different, and then you should, if you can't cooperate and understand each other, then you have to split up and go on different ways.
And is that what happened to you?
Yeah, to all of us, I think so.
Yeah.
What happened in your last relationship then that made you realise that?
I think I grew more. I became more awake, and he was having his old habits and patterns, and for me it was boring, and I had to move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Why was that important?
That you moved on, that is.
For my growth.
For your growth.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest lesson that you've learned during that relationship?
That you should respect and love everyone with their choices, and even if you're not together anymore, this doesn't mean you can't stay friends, and just stay in contact and grow different.
Your last breakup, was it your fault or was it theirs?
It was theirs. I went to a concert with them and I saw them kissing another person. We went there together and they were like, oh, I'm going to go to the toilet. And then so I'm like, okay, where are they? And then I look around and I just see it. And I'm like, I have to leave. I just stopped there and I was like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm leaving.
So you left, and then what happened?
I didn't speak to them again.
What? No words since? You just broke it off and never uttered anything?
Yeah, blocked, nothing. I was really shocked and upset, but to be honest, probably for the best.
So looking back on it now, what's like the biggest lesson that you've learnt there?
Definitely not to be so trusting with people, but if I learned that lesson, it's fine.
And if you saw them in the street again, what do you think you would say?
I would turn the other way, to be honest. I'm not interacting with them again.
What is an experience that has changed your life?
Going through breakups. I broke up with my now wife while we were in the earlier stages of our relationship, and I look back and it was like one of the most profound, powerful, transformational experiences. And now I look back at all the breakups I've been through in my life, and all of them have been opportunities to become a better partner, a better person. Every single one has, especially because I went into that one with such deep intention to fully feel it, fully process it, use every bit of pain to become a better human.
Talk to me about the journey it took for you becoming a better person, going through that breakup.
So that was the first breakup I ever actually processed sober. And, you know, previously when I went through breakups, I would not feel all the grief, not feel all the endings. You know, I often say that ending and that experience of grief wasn't just from that relationship. It was all the ones I'd yet to have fully sat with. And so the process was about really just not leaving any of the emotional experiences I was having, asking for support from people that I loved and who loved me, who could like help me hold this grief that I'd never fully excavated. You know, we talk a lot about this idea of like ascension, becoming better and all that kind of stuff. But really, I think so much of the totality of who we are as humans is actually about the descent. It's about like bumping the edges of our shadow and our grief. Now I realize that grief is one of those emotions that demands to be felt. It's rooting, it holds you, unless you don't allow yourself to feel it. And I think as a culture, maybe that's worldwide, there's not a invitation or a vehicle to actually really walk through it.
And what advice would you give to those who are currently going through a breakup or are struggling to initiate a breakup?
What I will say is there's no such thing as a wrong decision. And what I mean by that is even if you decide to leave and then you recognize the value of what you had, you only recognize it through the leaving. The other side of it is if you're going through a breakup and you're still trying to process like actually letting go, this is the opportunity of your life to completely change it. If we actually take the pain of what we're going through and the information that comes from our relational experiences, more than one, we can turn into the most powerful relator, the most powerful communicator. We heal our wounds. It could be the moment that you get lost in and you never allow yourself to love again, or you can actually use the information that you're actually dealing with, the emotion, to become an amazing creator of love.